Well, it's interesting because originally we were both inspired by Patrick Hennessy and Henry Robinson Craig, who were figurative painters around mid-20th century Ireland. And a lot of their work was considered as surrealist, or kind of, we don't really know where to place it. Whereas in 2025, we can very easily place it within documenting gay identity and gay culture at the time. It's very obvious to us.
So Stephen kind of came to me with this idea. He wanted to kind of take inspiration from the work of two queer painters and transport it and showcase through a more modern lens. Through my research, because as I say, I was aware of Hennessy, but not hugely, so I researched him a lot, and I found out that he actually died 3 days before I was born. So I'm kind of showing my queer life as a queer painter in Ireland for the past 40-ish years since he has passed away.
I wouldn't say that you would confuse our work, yet at the same time, there are certain aesthetic elements that I feel like run through our work quite heavily. We're both not afraid to tackle color. We like dramatic compositions. We both think that there has to be some level of skill within the work to kind of really translate what we want. I would say that 90% of my work would be figurative. I just really enjoy those stories that we used to kind of grow up on when we went to art museums. It's a way of how I was able to understand history was through portraits and landscapes and stuff like that. But it never really included somebody like me, or they never had those stories that I could kind of really relate to. So I think that's kind of why I'm doing it now, so that people can kind of go, oh, there were LGBTQ plus people in history.
I'm kind of looking backward to my own experience for some of it. So for that, it's kind of more traditional oil on canvas. But then for more contemporary concerns, there's more contemporary materials. I'm making a small mini collection about identity. At first glance, they will look like they're about fashion, and they are about fashion, as fashion is a very important tool for gender affirmation. The collection kind of starts from when I'm about 2 or 3. There's a little self-portrait of me on horseback, which is a nod to a Hennessy painting called Boy with Horses on the Seashore.
The idea of containing the subject of othering to a flat 2D surface constantly seems kind of counterproductive. I like to kind of follow the idea and respond as authentically as I can to it. If that includes putting a giant curtain in front of it or a metal rod jutting out the front of it, then I'll put it in. But other times, if the painting achieves what I need it to, then I kind of just let it sit.
I love the fact that it's a church. I love that, obviously, as a queer person, feeling the effect of the church growing up is definitely something that feels significant. The most recent time I visited after I had started working with transparent materials, that's when I really appreciated the light and obviously the stained glass.
In their work, they especially Hennessy, has challenged the kind of church, and he's played around with symbols of Christianity in statues and placing them in the Irish landscape and kind of played with their meaning. That's kind of some of the plans that we have for the work as well, to kind of play with what the role is of the Catholic Church in Ireland and how it kind of has had a serious knock-on effect for the queer community here. We went with Dysphoric Euphoria because we believe that those words out of context have connections to the queer community, but also makes people kind of question, how do you exist in a space where both of those things are true at the same time? That you can live in dysphoria and euphoria. I
think naturally we both kind of went in opposite directions. When I kind of had the thought that I wanted it to be mostly upbeat, my initial reaction was, oh, I don't know, I don't know if it's appropriate to make a show about being queer in Ireland today and not to tackle any of the harder issues. My tack on it is I wanted there to be euphoria and joy as resistance is kind of how I explained it. This is how it looks to have a joyful queer life in 2025.